Hello, all you wonderful souls out there. Welcome to my final webisode of my story. So, this has been a fictional version of my story that I tell my life story in little webisodes, and it's been a journey, it really has been a journey. I started it on the basis of, the Bible verse, they overcome by their testimony and the blood of the Lamb. And I've always felt in my heart since childhood that I want to be an overcomer. I want to be an overcomer. So with that being said, I've loved my life. I truly have loved my life. I've talked about a lot of hard things, some harsh things, and some things that I probably got upset at weird times for a lot of people. And at other times I probably talked about some harsh things and just skirted over them. And I left out some harsh things because to me it just, oh well, I'm so thankful for my harsh life. I'm so thankful for it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Sometimes I get sad because there are people out there who have parents still together. I don't know if those people know how much of a blessing that is, that they have that. But, there's a lot of people out there that don't. And we're all just fine. And so, and I get sad about other things too because it's a journey. It's a life journey. We're going on this journey. But I really am so thankful for all of it. And, I started this story telling the story of my birth and stuff, and that was from my perspective. It was like the stories that I've been told from my mom and from my dad and from my grandparents, and I just put all the pieces together and began my story with those stories. So, and there's certain aspects of my story. All of the really, really harsh parts that I talked about are parts that I was unable to find any course correction or ability to heal with those parts of my story. So they needed to be in my story. That's early on in my story, I talk about some traumas that I endured, and I don't know what I was thinking, but my mother had called me and she let me know. And, for me, I'm recording these months in advance before I put them out there. So these are already recorded before, if you come and talk to me, the next 5 stories that are going to be put out there, I hadn't talked to you yet, But anyway, she came to me and she was like, that wasn't right. The way that you began it wasn't right at all. And I was like, well, it's not meant to be right, And then she's like, well, she was telling me that she never did some of this stuff, or she didn't remember doing it. And I already know that because I've tried to confront her, and she let me know that it wasn't. She pretty much let me know that there's been times where I've tried to talk to her about what she did whenever I was in 1st grade in New Mexico, and she just got angry. Why are you bringing that up? Why are you being like this? It's stupid. Because I was trying to find healing and solution, but her reaction let me know that wouldn't be possible, and I buried it. And then years later, in the mental hospital, that buried stuff came out, and I saw that what I need to do with this is to tell it in my story. And at that time, it was a future thing that was going to happen. And then I did tell it, and it really hurt my mom, and I don't like that it did. I really don't. And she hasn't talked to me since. She cut me off. So I'm out of her life, and that's okay. I have people saying that, I need to reach out to her, I'm going to regret it, and da-da-da-da. But it wasn't me that cut her off. She cut me off, and I just want her to live her most happiest life. And I don't think that that's a life that's compatible with mine. And that can be okay. And it can be okay if any of my daughters end up like that too. It can be okay. I really feel like we're we're moving more into the new age. And again, like, I really want to teach this. I say again because I've taught everyone around me this, but the coming of the new age is like this. This is the age of Pisces. This is the age of Aquarius. And then here comes the new age, and we are somewhere in here. Okay? You see this? This in here? This is Pisces and Aquarius. And that's where we are. Okay? So right now we can choose to live the old way and live based off of the past. We can choose to continue to repeat history. And there are going to be people that choose that, and that's okay. They're going to fit into where they belong. Once we get into the age of Aquarius, once we get into this, which this is still hundreds of years away, guys. Once we get into this where there's no Pisces left, where the Pisces can't reach. So really, look, the Pisces can reach quite a ways. Those people are going to be solidified into the age of Aquarius. And we think that the age of Aquarius is like going to be all kumbaya, and it's going to be the lion laying down with the lamb, and, you know, all that stuff. But it's not. It's on its way towards that, which is still going to be ages away. But what the age of Aquarius is going to be, where if you're from the age of Pisces and you decided to hold on to the old ways and the way that you're going to do things based off the past because that's how it's supposed to be done and that's how it's been proven to be done right. If you're going to be like that, then whenever you get into this area, because see, this is that, it's these, once you get here, and you have to move into the age of Aquarius here, once you're here, you're going to be solidified into that. And that's all that you're going to know. That's all that everybody around you is going to know. So the age of Pisces will continue into the age of Aquarius, but it's going to be more isolated. Basically, it's not the lion lays down with the lamb. It's the lions start hanging out with the lions and the lambs start hanging out with the lambs more and more and more. So it's very important for us that are not wanting to be the age of Pisces into the new age. And you see how we can start here. We start in the age of Pisces, where the Aquarians we want to start. And I identify with this, so that's why I say we. Where the Aquarians we want to start in the age of Pisces, which we're in now. And when we're going to bring the new energy into and create the new. We're the creators of the new. And as that, we can't do things based off the past anymore. And we have to be very non-judgmental. Because the Pisces age is the right and wrong, and the Aquarian age is where you belong. So it's very much, you're not going to be as judgmental, because now the judgment is this right or wrong, but the judgment is, does this belong? So basically, if you're going to be one of the people that hold on to the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius and do things the old way, because that's how it's how it's been proven to be done, then I know that you don't belong with me. And if I'm going to be an innovator, a mover, I'm going to be on the tip of the edge. I understand that I belong with other people that are like that. And I will begin, as we move more and more into the age of Aquarius, we're going to be able to begin to clump together better. Right now, we don't clump together that well. We're trying to find and begin those clumps. That's where we're at right now. We're like right here. We're on the knuckles of Pisces. Okay, that's where we're at. It's right there. We're going to be moving into the knuckles of Aquarius. But the knuckles of Aquarius feels just like the knuckles of Pisces. Look, they're pretty much the same. You know what I mean? That's where we're at right now. So things are very, very woo. But it's fun. It really is. It's fun. So yeah. I don't even know how I got to teaching that. That's what I want to get into. You see, that's the kind of stuff that I teach and I naturally have the knowledge of, and I really want to share it with others. I don't want to keep it to myself. I don't want to die with the knowledge that I have whenever I could have shared it with people that actually cared to learn it. Of course, I don't want to share it with people who, I am Muslim and Allah is the greatest and all of my stuff is already proven right. Like, okay then, go with your Allah Muslims and be proven right. And I'm going to share it with the people that are like, whoa, I've never heard that perspective before. What are you talking about? Oh, let me see if this makes sense, and it will, trust me, because I have to make sense with my knowledge. I'm more logical before I am feeling. I've had to learn the feeling side, and the feeling side has really, it's grown upon me. And but the logic side is my first love, Don't forget your first love. That's the Philadelphia church in the book of Revelations. But I want to teach that too, how we have all the churches within us, and the true first love that the Philadelphia church is talking about is your spirit. Remember that you're a spirit, you're not a body. Your first love is your spiritual dwelling, not your body dwelling, And oh my gosh, I would love to get into all this stuff, but yeah, it's, I don't know. Figuring out that I'm autistic at the end of my story has been very crazy transformative too. It makes me feel so much better because there's been so many times where people were like, "Are you retarded?" And if I could have been like, "Yeah, I have a mental disability. I'm autistic. I'm on the spectrum." Man, how transformative that would have been. So that's another thing, is realizing that. And I think, that just, it comes out in how I do these videos. But now with my story being finished and me knowing, like, it really was, like, my story wasn't for you guys. It wasn't. It was for me, and it was for me transforming and learning and growing. And it's for my future relatives, maybe, because I would have loved to have a video like this from my great-grandmother or my great-great-grandmother. How freaking cool would that be? So it's also for those to find, the ones that would love it. But I feel like I've overcome a lot with my testimony. I feel stronger to be able to go out there and shine my light and share my talents with the world, which is what I was trying to accomplish with this My Story series. So I feel like I've done it. I've accomplished it. And I'm happy and proud of me. So I hope you can be happy and proud of me too. I've come a long way. I've got a long way to go, and I'm happy for that, because it's the journey. The journey is what is the most fun, and finding a way to enjoy the journey is where it's at. Not rushing to each destination. You feel empty. Every time you get there, it feels empty. But when you enjoy the journey, it feels so much better. So yeah, I'm going to teach and preach that you got to start with yourself. You got to start with yourself. You got to start with self-awareness. I am incredibly self-aware. I have to be. I was a neurodivergent living in a neurotypical world, and I had no idea that I was neurodivergent. I was trying to be neurotypical, and all the information that they tell you is, self-awareness. They teach you self-awareness. I don't think that it's a bad thing that I was misdiagnosed or whatever. I still have, my diagnosis is CPTSD, which is neurodivergence. But I feel like my CPTSD is on top of the autism, because an autistic trait, one of them is that every time I switched from houses, it was traumatic for me. But I pushed that trauma down and would pretend that it's not traumatic for me, because I knew, I had a knowing that that's stupid. It's not traumatic for other people. And I've seen other kids go from house to house and it's fine, but it was a traumatic experience for me. I would cry myself to sleep no matter which house I was in the first night that I was in that house. And I can't explain that. And all I would do is try to hide it, just cry at night in my pillow when nobody can see. That's all. That was my autism, and I didn't know. If I would have known, I could have found a way to deal with the fact that I moved from house to house and it not be so traumatic. But yeah, and if the adults in my life would have known, then they could have helped support me, and that it would have created a different life. But I wanted to be an overcomer. I wanted things to overcome, and I wanted the challenge, and I got the challenge, and I enjoyed the challenge. My soul had a great time learning and growing through all of that ish. So I don't regret it. I don't regret it. Not for one day. Not for one day. And I love my mom. I love the role that she played and the part that she played for me. It's so important because, again, whenever I started my metaphysical school and I got in the empath groups and stuff, I began to notice that I had, and they started telling me that I had this mama wound, this obvious mama wound. And, of course, I was, my mom just disowned me again. Again, I say again, but I feel like she's disowned me my whole life. Whether she did or not, she played a role that helped me feel that way, which I'm so thankful for. So I did start taking Heal Your Mama Wound courses because and there's Heal Your Father Wound courses out there too, but I don't relate to those people. I love my dad. I love my grandpa. I've always been a men's rights activist. I've always hated feminism. Looking at it, I have a wounding around the mother, not the father. So yeah, I did. I started looking into Heal Your Mother Wound, and I started looking into goddess stuff. That's how it got me into the priestess school and everything. And I mean, looking into the goddess scriptures, there were some of these scriptures from Kuan Yin and stuff from way before Jesus, and they were talking about the stuff that Jesus talked about, only kind of more in depth, like Jesus, like, look to the lilies of the field. There was a whole entire chapter on what the lilies of the field means, and like the planting of the seeds and the heart is the soil. These are all in goddess scriptures, and it, and in the Bible, the Bible just talks bad about the Queen of Heaven, and here I'm reading this stuff, and I'm getting more in depth, and I'm trying to heal my own mother wound, and you don't have to be in touch with your own mother, and I look at the earth as my mother, and it really transformed the way that I think about the world and religion. And while I still love Christianity and I still love the Jews, and I'm okay with the Muslims. they're very similar, those three. While all that's true, I have grown to love the Mother Goddess, the Queen of Heaven, that the Bible calls. It's the most evil thing in the world, and I've grown to see that she has been wounded, and that there is a goddess wound. And it's obvious. It's if you just look in the consciousness of people. And I transformed my own religion to speak to Mother, Father, God, and Goddess. And I went through a lot of healing work with the Goddess. And that is another thing that I have grown to love. I've grown to love women, and even my own mother. I see how she was wounded. We're wounded. We're coming from these wounded places, and I don't know. Love is what's going to help us heal, and love is what's needed. And I want to do my part to help others that have this mother wound like I have heal, and help with my knowledge that I've learned with that. Because again, I'm autistic, so this was one of my autistic special interests for a minute. I'm ADHD, so I have many autistic special interests. So yeah, and I know that I'm ADHD because I can't be happy if, I'm fidgeting with this the whole entire time I'm talking to this, and I can't be happy just doing one thing. I typically have to have my computer, a video game, and a movie playing. I cannot just watch a movie, and go into the movie theater just to watch a movie. Oh, it's insane. because you got to be doing something else too. Like, I got to be doing two things to be able to hear. And doing, oh, it's crazy, but yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot on my journey, and I don't regret any of it. I do not regret any of it. And I am so thankful for it all. Yes, I am, Bella. I'm thankful for it all. She's barking out the window. I don't know what she's looking at. But that's it, guys. That's the end of my story. And so I'm going to be moving on to creating a YouTube channel that is for service for you. And I want to create these courses where I teach about the chakra system. I teach about increasing your intuition, increasing your psychic abilities, developing your light body. I also want to teach courses on healing our chakras, healing our mother wound. I can't help with the father wound. Again, I'm very ignorant about that, but my life story, I can help with the mother wound. So those that have that, they can come to me. I want to do card readings. I want to do astrology readings, and I got monthly horoscopes going on right now. We'll see where that goes. I don't know. I will continue to do the self-love series every year in Leo season. I'm going to do self-awareness, where I look at myself for 40 days and I love myself for 40 days. I work on myself for 40 days. I'll always vlog those because, Leo's all about the selfies too. And so you'll see me in real time during the I Love Leo season, and the rest of the time, I've got ideas coming up, but I do want to hear from you. What do you want to see from the Mystic Hillbilly? What do you hope will come from the Mystic Hillbilly? How can I service you? You've heard my story now, my ups and my downs. How can I be of service to you? What would make a membership with the Mystic Hillbilly worth paying for? I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'm so thankful to have you guys along this journey. And for all of my future watchers, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or anything, you can email me. It should be the same email in the description, the mystichillbilly410@gmail. You can email me with any questions or anything. I'll be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. And if I'm still alive, if you're in the future, I'm no longer there, I'm sorry. But, because, the grandkids and stuff. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. That is my story. That's my fictional story. That's the end. I'm so grateful. And I wish you all the best. I love you guys so much. As always, be blessed with love.